Pole. Welcome back to Mindspace. Apologies for what has gone. Tulikuwa na technical issues kidogo, lakini we have resolved it and we are ready to roll. Hopefully you can receive us loud and clear. Welcome back. So, where were we? We were rolling very well, man. Yeah. I don't know what happened. So, you told me you tried your hand in politics. Oh, sorry. Before even we get to that, about the transition from employment.
Oh yeah, yes. I was just saying the transition. Yes. So first, my first employer was an MG, and I'm really grateful to the people that believed in me first. Then I went to Sandlama. But before then, I really worked in a very small organization. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, Mwenda, if today you want to get a job, and I think Alibaba said it before, that a small organization will really teach you a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Now, when you work for a small company, you get to learn a lot. When you work for a small company, you get to do a lot of things. But in a big company, in a big corporate, you really don't get to learn, especially if you're starting off in your career. Because you have your desk, and if you're a clerk, you can only stay within that straight jacket. You cannot stretch the handshake beyond the elbow. You have to do what you are told to do. And that's why job descriptions really matter a lot. But in small organizations, in a small company, so I worked in a small company called Lafayette Resources, and I really want to thank Jeroge Kieri for that opportunity, where I really learned a lot. I had never done anything to do business development or sales, but that's where I really thrived, and I learned that, hey, sales can be a good career. Because people think, I went to school, and just because I scored a good grade, when you score a good grade, you don't think that you can be in sales. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's the problem with the education system. Yes. It tends to think like maybe a sales job is for people that didn't do very well. Mm. But I tell you, if somebody were to take me back, maybe if I were not to do what I'm doing today, I would never do any other job other than sales. Sales is a very, very fantastic job. It's a very good
challenging,
job. The challenge is there, but when the money comes, bro, it really comes in very well. Yes. I tell people, you keep struggling, keep digging the trenches. But when the big deal comes, you become a big dog. And you start playing with the big boys. You get it? Mm-hmm. Now, I worked there and I learned sales, I learned business development, I learned consultancy, I learned HR, I learned dealing with people. That's where I really found my hands, and I said, yes, this is the place that I want to be, and this is what I was born to do. Mm-hmm. So that's actually, for me, that was the golden moment. That's when my compass found my true north. Mm-hmm. You get it? It was a very small organization. We were less than 5 people. Mm-hmm. And when I was just transitioning from a big company, from a big conglomerate, the Twin Towers and NMG, everybody thought I was mad. I lost friends. Some family members thought I was mad. You see? Mm-hmm. So these transitions sometimes teach us a lot of things. And a small organization, for me right now, if I'm to advise somebody, I tell them, what do you really want? You want to learn or you want to earn? But when you're starting off in your career, when you're very young, don't really work so hard. Don't work so hard at earning. Work so hard at growing yourself. Work hard at yourself. Because at that point, earning is not very important. Learning is more important. And that's I learned much of the things and most of the things that I'm doing right now. I really learned them at Lafayette Resources. Then out of that, I moved to become a training manager in Sanlam. Then I went to sell insurance at Sanlam Noel. That's where I really did sales very well again. I used to run a branch and it used to be very well until I now said the calling was really, I used to wake up, I used to sleep. I could do everything. But somebody would walk into my office with a problem and we would talk for 4-5 hours and I wouldn't see. I would be called to go and give a talk. I would give a talk when my time is 40 minutes. I would talk for 20-25 minutes. But the question and answer session would take almost 2-3 hours. Wow. That's the time I said, I think God is telling me this. There's that still small voice that tells you need to do it. I did it. But in all these times, I've been called all sorts of names. Mm-hmm. I've been called a thief. I've been called a con man. I've been called a crazy man. Yeah. I've been called a drunkard. I've been called all sorts of things. But you know what? That is the path to greatness. That's the path to, and that's why I like reading biographies. If you read biographies of great men, there's always a story behind the story, as they say. One of the best biographies that I like reading is, for instance, T.D. Jakes. I like reading his biographies. I never knew that, for instance, at one point he really had to dig trenches to just, for 11, 12 years, T.D. Jakes preached to a congregation of 6 people, 7 people, who comprised of his brother, his wife, his kid, his driver, his children.
Yes.
So they used to come to work in a van, and this van belonged to them.
Yes.
So the whole congregation used to come in a van, and the whole congregation used to live in a van. And the driver was TDJX, and the pastor was TDJX. For how many years?
6 years.
More than 10 years.
Wow.
Doing the same thing every day, preaching to 7. Let me ask you, if you opened a church today, and people don't come, would you preach for more than a month? You wouldn't.
Yeah.
But he preached for 11 years in West Virginia. Until one day he was called, hey, a guy, come. You know the way pastors are called, and he's like, okay, he went to a different states. I mean, you stayed in the States. At some point, you had a distinguished tour of duty in the States.
Yeah.
So he went and he was called, hey, come. We want you to come and give a talk. Come and preach. So he went and preached. And as they say, the rest is history. He runs one of the biggest churches in the world.
Yeah.
You know, the Potter's House.
Yes. Actually, that was my church when I lived in Dallas.
You see? It was big. See? When he came to Kenya, how much were people paying to just sit and listen to him?
Wow.
And this comes to how much are you willing to invest? Yeah. I remember when the late Dr. Miles Monroe came and he was at Safari Park. I mean, that time I was feeling that I want to be in those, speaking circuits. I didn't have money. And I remember I borrowed some money from a friend of mine called David Hablem. We used to work together in Nation. And he was like, are you mad? Why do you want to go and listen to somebody for 40 minutes, take a breakfast of 3,000 shillings, and you are paying almost 45K? I just told him, hey, a guy, I want to sit there. I want to listen to that guy. Listen, those 40, 50 minutes that TD Jake spoke are the moments that I still remember vividly.
Wow. They changed your life.
And when he spoke about, go and read a book called The Secret Letters of the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. That what holds us back in life is the invisible architecture of fear. That's a book by Robin Sharma. That what holds us back in life, most of us as human beings, what holds us back in life is the invisible architecture of fear. That fear is amorphous. It doesn't have a shape. So that invisible architecture, and we don't see it, is what holds us back in life. However, the moment we step into the discomfort of growth and progress, look at the way those words are placed. That for growth and progress to be realized, there has to be some level of discomfort. So this discomfort can take 5 years. This discomfort could be very painful. But how many people are willing to endure? How many people have the grit to endure that? And that's the difference between those who make it and those who do not. That is the difference between those winners who fight and those who take the flight. Yes. Because why? The human mind is conditioned to take flight the moment there's a challenge. You realize that? So if you do not take cognizance of that fact, then you'll just be a human doing. You'll just be going through the fears of life. I mean, there'll be nothing so unique about you. You'll not follow your dreams. And that's why they say the richest place in the universe is the what?
The graveyard.
The graveyard.
All ideas.
All ideas are going. They say that most small businesses, they start, and we have a good program called the Entrepreneurs Crucible. People come in, they tell you, how long did you do this? Somebody tells you, I tried for 6 months, 1 year. I mean, things have not been working up. Do you know, like in consultancy, you can follow a deal for 1 and 2 years and you don't get a deal? Yeah. I can tell you, I've been following a client for the last 1 year. I'm one of the best salespeople that this town has. I can tell you for sure. I'm a sales trainer and I know that, and I say that with a lot of confidence. You can follow a deal for 1-2 years. And things don't show up. Then one day, you get that call. But how many people have that grit? How many people have that endurance? Do you know what I've discovered in this life? Talent is nothing. Talent is nothing. I've seen so many talented idiots. The most important thing is to be intentional about what you want to do. Yes, Mwenda.
Wow. Hey, you guy, my guy. Thank you, John Okude, Amos Njau, Kenuthia, Ken Bajo, Shira Bahati, Dan Trendy, Amoro Victor, Leo Louis Shea, Amos Gadumbi, GK Interiors is watching, Eric Kuru, Tosh. Okay, sir, we are tuned in. Ande Moaz, Vanessa Magiri is back, G Mwangi, George Mwangi, Daniel Mugambi, Phoebe Getty, and many, many, many of you. Thank you for tuning in. So, about politics.
I mean,
There's something I overheard somewhere.
Yeah.
That ulikuwa kwa debe.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It's not something I like talking about because now, I'm really, honestly, I think I'm cut for the corporate space. I like what I do so much. But, when I was in college and when I was in campus, I was the political bug has always bite me. And I remember the time that I was in Kenyatta University, I was in campus politics. And at one point, I was actually gunning for the presidency of the Kenyatta University. And when I meet most of my contemporaries, they call me Mr. President because I was gunning for presidency at Kenyatta University. That's 2011 there. So politics, yes. So 2022, I felt like I want to go and represent my constituency. So I went to vie for Member of Parliament to West Mugirango constituency. And as they say, the rest is history because it's a story that you can do behind Uko Nyuma. But what I discovered about the Kenyan politics is that we are still miles away from really what it takes to get good leaders. I mean, one of the best qualifications for you to be a politician in this country is that you have to have some element of, you have to have a very high tolerance for stupidity and mediocrity. I mean, your tolerance levels for stupidity and mediocrity really have to be high there because 99%, I mean, somebody said that actually one day fools are going to elect a president in a country. I mean, the reason why they said like that is because there are so many foolish people and the middle class is not going to vote. People that have gone to school don't vote. They think politics is a dirty game altogether. So how many people vote? I mean, how many educated people vote? How many people that, the moment somebody gets a small job, middle class, joins the middle class, those days when people are voting is a holiday for them. They don't vote. And in fact, to some extent, I think sometimes God brings troubles to teach people. Like, look, I'm not saying we are not headed well as a country, but what is the general national psyche? There's some collective feeling that we need to, go back to the drawing board as a country and look at the kind of policies that we're implementing. So if you look at all that, come 2027, right now, there's this tangent conversation. I mean, the Gen Zs came the other day, they were saying, we're asking tough questions. But I'll tell you, when that time comes, people will recede to their tribal cocoons because, again, the tribal card keeps coming up again and again. Mtu wangu, nini, and so on and so forth. But the moment people will realize that it doesn't matter who sits on that position, that if you pick the right leaders, actually, then we are going to go forward as a country. But I believe you're still light years away from that, and we need to do a lot of civic education. I think we need to actually have it as part of our curriculum for people to understand the essence of leadership, because leadership is what defines the direction of a country. Yeah, so I do not know, but what I can say about politics and everything around it is that politics is politics. Politics is politics. And you really, for Kenya as a country, your tolerance levels for things you would not ordinarily take have to be high there. I mean, at one point I remember when somebody used to ask you, mbona unaongea kizungu? So me, I'm like, I've grown up speaking English.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've grown up speaking English, Kiswahili, Kikisi. So I speak English very well. I speak Swahili very well. I speak Kikisi very well. But I cannot say now I'm going to speak in Swahili. I'm going to speak in nini. Those things come just naturally. But when somebody says, why unaongea kizungu? So I look at
Kizungu mingi.
Yeah.
Kuna kizungu mingi.
So such like things. I do not know what to say, but yeah. But again, I'll tell you, it's really about what you believe in and what you stand for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a career coach, what would you advise somebody who might be thinking to join politics? Okay.
Now this one is not, politics is like people who sell gold. Let me put it like that. I once asked a friend of mine, is our Kile. So somebody walks into my office and tells me that they believe I'm selling gold. And tells me, okay, you believe I'm selling gold? Who told you that? And your friend told me you're selling gold, or probably you've been knowing these guys are selling gold. I said, okay, sir, that's good. If you think like me of that, it's okay. So I called a lawyer friend of mine whom I know deals with these deals of gold and he signs the deals. So I called him, a guy, I've got a client for you. This guy came all the way from Dubai. So then I asked this friend of mine. He's a senior lawyer in this country. I asked him, by the way, gold, how do you wake up in the morning and saying you're starting to sell gold? Because, I mean, it's crazy. As a country, I don't think we have enough gold deposits, but I know we are a transit country. So this is what he told me. Griffins, selling gold is a spirit. So in the same stride, if you ask me about politics as a career coach, I tell somebody, getting into politics is a spirit. I mean, people sell homes, people sell land, people lose their families because they want to join politics. I mean, I've got a friend of mine, he was vying for an MCA in this city, and when he lost, he had sold the cars, he sold the family house. By the time he was going back 1 week down the line, the wife had left, the wife had gone. So that's got those kinds of frustrations. But if you speak to somebody who's in politics, especially when they bag a bite properly, they see themselves winning that seat. And this when you go to the villages, they tell you, niwewe, mkubwa niwewe.
Kura zote ni zako.
Kura zote ni zako.
Kila mtu ameamua.
In my tribe, they say, nae weka. Niwewe too, as in, you are the only one, you get it. So, they sing for you. Like me, I had a song, so nilienda nikatengeneza nyimbo mzuri ya Kikisi, and I was really feeling very nice when you hear you on the lyrics, you know. Yes. It's really very emotional. So, and then those mamas, they tell you niwe peke yako. So we used to drop a disclaimer. Msiniambie ni mimi peke yangu, the news kupiga kura nipate kwa line ni mimi peke yangu. And to be told, when the election day comes, they look at you like they've never seen you.
The game changes.
The game changes. So it's a spirit. So if somebody, my friends keep asking me, are you going to be back in 2027? I say right now, I feel like really what I'm doing is really coming on very well. And yeah, I love what I'm doing every day. I mean, each and every day somebody would walk into my office and they say, hey, we want to do 1, 2, or 3, or 4. And let's have a discussion. Like, I want to follow my passion. I want to find my true north. I want to find a job. I mean, we want, then a call would come in Griffins. Can you train our people? Come and train salespeople. Come and take us through customer service. Come and let's do HR reviews, analysis. I mean, all sorts of things in their consulting cycle and that spectrum. So that's what excites me more. Yeah, but as I said, politics is a spirit.
Okay.
And in matters of the spirit, I think I'm deficient to comment about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So one told me one time, if you want to join politics, especially for a business person, or for anybody to that matter, he asked me, what's your limit for your ATM limit? How much can you withdraw? Say, let's say 40,000.
Yes.
Tell me, take your ATM card, go to the ATM, go withdraw 40,000. Carry a lighter or a matchbox. Go somewhere and place that money, the 40,000.
Uchome kila kitu.
Na uchome. Ukianza kuchoma, ikichomeka yote kama unaangalia, then know you are ready for politics.
Yeah. Yes, I've done
Can you relate to that?
I've done something akin to that, because you see in politics sometimes you go to the bank, you withdraw 500,000. Unaenda unachange na kwa 50-50. I had a friend of mine called Ben. So he used to go to Hurlingham Barclays Bank. I once saw my friend called Ben. He went to Hurlingham Barclays Bank, they drew 3 million shillings. Akachange ikakuwa 100 bob 100. When I asked me pesa inaenda wapi? Ati ni pesa kuspend between Friday to Monday. Kuna mazishi, kuna matanga, kuna pesa kupewa mama, vijana and all that. You understand? So that's our way of politics. Although I'll tell you, I have a sense of feeling that Kenyans have reached a point where there's a turning point. Though I stand to be corrected. I don't think I have the moral probity to espouse on these matters. But we have reached a point where probably people are starting to realize that, yes, a politician will come and give you 200, 300, or 1,000 shillings, but then for the next 5 years, you're suffering. So I think we reached a point where we are having that collective consciousness that, hey, we need to really, 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 really look at the kind of guys that we are electing. So yes, you have to have a very high tolerance, and not many people will take 40,000 from the ATM and light and burn.
See it burn all of it.
Burn, especially if you've worked hard for the money.
If you have sweated
for it, yeah.
Wow. So as they say, the handouts, or if a politician bribes you for a vote, what you're taking is your development money in advance. Yeah. Expecting no development, of course.
Development after that.
Expecting nothing.
Nothing.
Whatsoever.
Yeah.
Wewe kula hiyo 50 yako, ungoja another 5 years, ukule 100.
Do you remember there's a time the president said, William Ruto said, you mean you are a member of parliament and you're going to budget almost 700 million in 5 years and you lose an election? You must be very stupid. I do not know the interpretation. The way I interpreted it, probably he meant to say, use that money to do development. Or the other extreme. You understand? So you see, that's basically it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this being a man's month, And we have had issues, especially in the last 3 months, about femicide, about fight, about people killing each other, men taking their lives, suicide and stuff like that. What's your take on the femicide?
First of all, I find it very stupid that, there's banter that men usually have. Sometimes they say, you would never understand what triggers. Life is about stimuli and the response. You get stimulated and you have to respond. But I've learned one powerful word in life. Very powerful word. P-A-U-S-E. Pause. The moment men will learn the art of pausing, taking a pause, trust me.
Before reaction.
Everything in life is about stimuli. You get stimulated.
Yes.
You get provoked.
Yes.
Then, between the stimuli and what you do, there is that response that you want. But in between, there is the pause. I call it the SPR formula of life. You've gotten stimulated. Then you want to respond. But always remember, there is what we call a pause. There's no life that is perfect. There is no marriage that is perfect. Leave alone what people see on social media. Somebody comes on board. They're always happy. They're always on the beach. All that is utter balderdash. It's crap. If you them to be a pastor, as you indicated before, and a couple comes, are they called a couple? A fiancé and a fiancée, people that want to get married. How are they called?
Courtship.
Well, people that are in courtship, people that want to get married.
Yes.
So, if they come to me and they ask me, we want to get married, do you know the first qualification I'll ask them? How many times have you fought? So if somebody tells me, or if these people tell me, Sisi, our life is so smooth and we've never fought, I'll tell them, go back. Because, the problem is this social media, the digital media. Everybody on TikTok, everybody on Instagram is happy. You know that? But I want to live on TikTok. I want to live on Instagram. Every time you open Instagram, every time you get into TikTok, it's just about nirvana. Everybody is in their mind.
No challenges.
There is no challenge.
Yes.
People are in heaven. You'll see people in flashy, and there's filters. So you see, you filter yourself and you look so nice, so everything seems to be going. Then 2 weeks down the line, we see social media. Somebody killed themselves. Or somebody died. So what happens? So what has happened is the fact that people are living a lie. People are living a lie. And this is what is disturbing people. So I went to school with you. So if I went to school with you, then I see you 2 years down the line, you post a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, or you post a very nice car, whatever it is, BMW, Audi, Mercedes, a very nice, Toyota car, Nissan, name it. So what do I feel like I've started losing it. What am I doing correctly? Then I start getting depressed. Then all of a sudden I get stimulated. I go back home. Probably I argue with my wife. That's a stimuli. You will always get stimuli from every corner. You leave home, you argue with your wife. You're driving in the streets. Maybe a driver comes from God knows where, hits you. In that fit of rage, you want to hit them as well. So that's stimuli comes from all corners. I've been a victim of that. Sometimes I tend to be very emotional. I had a very high sense of reaction. I used to be this guy who, if he just point a finger at me like this, I wouldn't take it lightly. Probably, I was this tiny, but I could really bite. So, I realized, life is a matter of becoming. I love Michelle's book, that life is about becoming, So life is a continuous process, and I've also been becoming who I am. So I've discovered nowadays is that every corner of life, you get stimulated. It's stimuli. So in between, if you don't take a pause, what will you do? You will respond.
Exactly.
So how you respond matters a lot.
Yes.
And for a man, you asked me about femicide. For men, it gets worse because we have an ego. So I'm married and somebody tells me, hey, but I've seen your wife somewhere. Akona nani. So quickly you drive, you rush there, and then you find your wife probably in a compromising situation. Immediately you get stimulated. You want to kill this guy. You want to kill your wife and everything. But take a pause. Take a pause. Men should know there are millions of women in this world. Why? Just train yourself to take a pause in everything.
Yes.
Maybe I've learned it. Even in communication, take a pause. You know what the Bible says in Proverbs? The tongue is a small thing, but it can cause life and death. So, in the same stride, I think that is 21:18 Proverbs, or 18:21 there. So, in the same stride, if people can learn that life is always about stimulation, how you respond is what that matters. People get stimulated. You go, drink, you see a beautiful woman, you get stimulated, you want to sleep with them. The response is to sleep. If you post, you'd ask yourself, do I have a condom? You'd ask yourself, what if I get in a compromising situation? You ask yourself, I mean, I've got a beautiful family. I mean, nobody's genuine. You see that, like this thing that was trending here, a bang. Today I've read the newspaper that the court in Equatorial Guinea said the bang is innocent because
he has no case to answer.
He has no case to answer.
Nobody has filed anything against
But
him.
for me, honestly, I mean, I don't find anything wrong with him because if you speak to an ordinary man outside here, I mean, we are friends. I mean, all these things are happening. So have people taken a chance to just ask themselves, when was the last time you were stimulated and how did you respond? How did you respond? But before you responded, did you take a pause? So my take would be, if you can understand that from every corner, Mwenda, let me tell you, if people can learn the art of taking a pause in everything, trust me. If you walk to prisons, most people that are in prison are not criminals. Most people that are in prison because they didn't take a what?
A pause.
A pause.
Wow. Great lesson there.
If people could only take a pause, imagine the cost. A pause can cost you billions. A pause can cost you your life in prison. A pause, you just pause, take a chill pill, and that is something you have to train yourself. It doesn't come easy because of the human brain. As I told you earlier, the brain has got an amygdala. You have an amygdala. An amygdala is a part of your brain that, if you see a snake there, the amygdala will immediately push you to take a flight. Right? That's how the brain is conditioned. That is because the brain is conditioned to keep you safe. So the thing is, it has to make you respond immediately. But again, you have what we call the mind. You have what we call, people again say the brain, the same brain. The brain, hey, take a pause. But how many people take a pause?
Very few.
Very few. So if you hear people in prison, they'll just tell you all stories and you'll be like, so why did you commit that? And they say, I don't know what happened. Basically, they're telling you, I did not take a what? A pause.
All right. Good.
So there's always the stimuli and there's the response, but in between, always remember there's a what? There's a pause.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. So, wow, about the pause, that one, I need to practice some more.
In communication, take a pause.
Yeah.
In communication, take a pause. Actually, I tell my people, take a powerful, pregnant pause. Because why? Pitches happen in pauses.
Yes.
Get it?
Yes.
Sorry for another day.
Thank you. Tips on how to become a good salesperson.
Okay. Tips on how to become a good salesperson.
Yes. Like me, how do I become a better salesperson?
Becoming a better salesperson, first of all, what is sales? Let's start from there. When you ask people what is sales, people think selling is peddling. Selling is hawking. No. Like, Mwenda, let me ask you, tell me 3 salespeople that you know in the world. Who are your best salespeople, for instance?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, yeah, exactly.
Of course, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, excellent.
Yes. And who else? Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone. Now, listen. I'll tell you, if you ask people who's the best salesperson they know, very few people will mention Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. You know, people will. When you ask them about the salesperson, they'll ordinarily think about the person they've seen peddling things.
Insurance.
Or probably insurance.
Yes.
And people have a bad rap about insurance. But if somebody were to ask me, by the way, insurance is one of the best things that you can ever sell. It's one of the best and the easiest thing to sell. So my thing is, understanding what sales is will first of all give you a clearer a clearer path to becoming a good salesperson. What is sales? I tell people that selling is the transference of your convictions and your beliefs to a third party. That you believe so much, you so much believe in this thing, you so much believe and you're so much convicted about a particular school of thought or a particular even religion that you want somebody else to believe in it. So who are salespeople? Pastors are salespeople. You get it? Politicians are salespeople. CEOs are salespeople, right? So selling is the transference of your beliefs and your convictions to a third party. So what does it take to become a salesperson? Question number one, do you believe in what you're selling?
Okay.
That is the first lesson. Do you believe in what you're selling? Because if you do not believe in what you're selling, you will not have the three things that it takes to become a salesperson. Do you have the passion? Do you have the energy? And do you have the enthusiasm? Those three things, passion, energy, and enthusiasm. But listen, you cannot have passion about something you don't believe in. So the fundamentals first is believe in it. Once you believe in it, then the story is half done. And then understand what you're talking about. Because automatically when you like what you do, you'll always be doing research about it because you keep rusting. Things keep changing. I mean, the way we used to sell before has totally shifted. You know, once upon a used to be told that the best salespeople know how to create relationships. I tell you, the best salespeople right now are not those people that know how to create relationships. It's not relationships that is bringing business right now. Do you know what is bringing business right now? It is the people that know how to create challenges in people's thinking and way of doing things. So I've realized that if you go to a client and you show them better ways of doing things, you challenge them to better ways of doing things, they challenge a salesperson, then that way you're becoming a better salesperson because these things keep shifting. Once upon a time, it was about creating relationships, but that was once upon a time. Now we're talking about challenger selling, where you are going into a client's office and you're telling them, hey, by the way, pause a little bit. I know this is what you want to attain at the end of the day. These are your objectives and these are the outcomes. But the way you framed your problem question is not going to get you there. What if you did it like that? So you are challenging them. You are actually leaving them better. You are giving them ideas. So do you know what it takes to become a good salesperson? Loving what you do, first of all. Appreciating what you do, secondly. Believing in it so badly. Having the passion, having the energy, having the enthusiasm, and constantly ensuring that you are nourishing your pipeline. Constantly nourishing your pipeline. What do you mean by that? What I mean is that if the pipeline becomes anemic, I mean, probably your pipeline is the people that you're going to see as a salesperson, the clients that you have. So probably what happens is people, when they start, they have a lot of enthusiasm about what they're doing. Listen, there's always a curve. When somebody is starting something, when somebody gets a job on the first day, or when somebody starts a career in sales, on the first day, probably they don't have any knowledge about what they're going to sell, be it a product or a service. But for that lack of knowledge, they have the enthusiasm. You know, they have that idea things are going to look well. So they'll be very energized, they'll be very enthusiastic. Now, as time goes by, they gather the product knowledge. They know what they're doing. But they become these guys in organizations who say, you know what, as we've been around for a while. I mean, so some newbie comes, a rookie comes into a company and you find these people who tell them, hey, you know, Sisi, we have been around for a while, so come on. We're going to attend a lunch, and probably this guy wants to spend 1 or 2 minutes to even read the new newspaper or just learn something. So this guy comes in and says, hey, you know, we've done this thing for 10 years. We're going to attend a lunch. Let me take you out for lunch. They go, they never come back. That is a person who has lacked the enthusiasm. They have rusted. Because why? When they started, they didn't have the knowledge about what they're doing. But now that they have the knowledge, they have lost the what? The enthusiasm. So the people that keep growing in life are people that know how to balance, continuously increasing your knowledge and continuously having the attitude of a beginner. Do you know the attitude of a beginner?
Yes.
The attitude of a beginner is, Michael Jordan was asked, why is it that every time you're playing, you're dribbling that ball in the court, you play as if the world is coming to an end. You play as if it's the last match you're playing. This is what Michael Jordan answered, and I love those words. That, hey, every time I hold that ball, every time I hold the basketball, I know one thing for sure. There is somebody, somewhere, out there, watching me for the first time. And I want to give them the best moves that I can manage. The attitude of a beginner through and through will keep you green and growing. You get it? The attitude of a beginner will keep you green and growing. Otherwise, if you're, I've been around for a while, and the only claim to glory is that you've been around for a while, then you are ripe. And everything that is ripe is just about to start rotting.
Oh, wow.
So be green so that you keep growing.
Be green. Keep learning. The more you learn, the more you earn.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you've written 2 books.
Yes.
What inspired you to do that?
Kiss It is my first book. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I forgot to carry my books over here. Actually, I've done 3 books, not even 2.
Oh, 3?
3 books.
Okay.
The first book that I did was Excuses Go to Hell. So I published that book. It was a high school read. I went to Asumbi Girls. I drove from Nairobi to Asumbi Girls. All the books were sold. And I never published that book again. I never. I had published 1,000 books. So I went and I found a guy called Talitha, and they told me we can publish for you this book. They did it. And I went to Asumbi, I gave a talk. Then after Asumbi, I went to a couple of schools, like 3 of them. There are 1,000 books, all of them, they got sold out. So I said, when I come back, I want to write another book. So when I was coming back, I felt like I want to write Kiss It. Keep It Stupid Simple.
Yes.
Keep It Stupid Simple is about, communication and, Mwenda, communication is everything in life right now. Communication is, so as I started my consultancy work, then I wrote Kiss It, Keep It Stupid Simple. Keep It Stupid Simple is about, think about making a creditable talk. Think about, everyone communicates, for sure. But Kiss It is about everyone communicating, yes. But Kiss It is for this person who wants to communicate, to connect. Everyone communicates. But are you connecting with your audience? That's what about Kiss It. Keep It Stupid Simple. Wow. So if everyone communicates, then you have to ask yourself, how do you stand out? So I said, everyone communicates, but then we have to ask ourselves, are you connecting with your audience?
Wow.
You get it? So I picked those words from John Maxwell, and they've always been at the back of my mind. And that's it, yeah. Everyone communicates. Have you ever gone somewhere? I love the way they put it. That people talk about Aristotle, but there was a guy called Demosthenes. So they say, the good books say, that when Aristotle spoke, they say, how well he spoke. But when Demosthenes spoke, they said, let's march. So I want people, when they communicate, they get that Demosthenes flair. So that when they finish, people can say, let's march. You're a manager, you're a leader, you're a CEO. When you communicate to your people, they should believe and have a total buy-in in your vision. So that they say, let's do it. That, yes, I'm home. I believe in the total company. Are we together? But if it's just about, even that email, how are you crafting that email? You understand? So that's why I say, you want to be like Aristotle or you want to be like Demosthenes? So Kiss It is about producing more Demosthenes.
Yes.
Aristotle, when he spoke, they say, how well he spoke.
Yes.
But Demosthenes, when he spoke, it is said, wow, let's
go.
march.
Action time.
Action time.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So if somebody wants to become a good public speaker, very quickly, we have 4 minutes to handle 2 questions.
Yeah.
How do you become a good public speaker?
Becoming a good public speaker is, first of all, understanding your content.
Yes.
Because you see, what are you going to talk about? Public speaking, and there are different types of speeches. So, and there are different setups. When you go to an interview, that's a speaking moment. That's a public engagement. So for me, I tell people, public speaking is about performance. So, question you're asking me is, how does someone become a good performer in different setups? So you want to perform in an interview, that is public speaking. You want to perform on the podium, that's public speaking. You want to perform in church, you want to sing, that is public speaking. You want to perform here, what we are doing is public speaking. You understand it? But ideally, this is a performance. So the question begs, do not just look at it vaguely. You know what? Martin Luther's speeches were eloquent enough in their written form. If you read like the speech, I Have a Dream, that speech is so eloquently written. But inspiration leaps. We feel inspired when we hear and see Martin Luther performing the speech, right? So, public speaking is about a performance. And I tell people, it doesn't matter. Your speech can be so profound. You can be vetted to give a lecture, and you give a very illuminating lecture. Your lecture can be so illuminating. And again, probably, you can make a very good proposal. Your proposal can be bulletproof. But the question begs, are you striking? Are you making an emotional connection? And that means you have to prepare, keep preparing, and prepare. Because why? There are 3 types of speeches you give. There's the speech you prepare to give. There's the speech you give. And after you are done, when you're walking away from the podium, or from the interview room, or from here, there's the speech you wish you give.
Yes.
You get it?
Right.
So there's nothing that is cast in stone. And I don't believe in this idea where you are told, go and speak things like this and like that. No way. I mean, we don't have a script over here. We're just having this convo. Off-pan, right? So this is the best. Because when the heart speaks, so I tell people, speak from the heart.
From the heart, yeah.
Why? Because when the heart speaks, the mind finds it indecent to object.
Wow. I think we'll need another session for this, bro.
Thank
Wow, you have
Thank
a lot of content.
Thank you.
You have a lot of juice.
No. I mean, I'm speaking from my heart, Mwenda. I'm not having any script over here. So I'm just speaking from the heart. Yeah.
You're not performing.
For me, this is a performance. I knew that I know everything is a performance. Put on your best act. Life is a big stage. Have you ever had people saying that Hakuna Makazi Kenya, I've not gotten a job and everything? I mean, I have a coaching program. My cheapest program is 120,000 shillings. So when you want to come to the simple coaching program, 120. And when you want to the senior coaching program, 150,000. That is very meager for people who know where they want to go. And of course, I have entry-level programs for just guys that are getting out. I call them entry-level, starting from around 45,000. But what is that when you compare it with burning your fingers, trying things here and there? You understand?
So somebody who's preparing like for an interview, they come see you, you coach them for 40,000.
I don't coach them on interview skills. I don't do that.
Yes.
I coach them on what I call KSG. Know, show, grow your brand.
Yes.
KSG. Everybody's a brand. So when you go in, you know an interview takes less than 3, 4, 5 minutes. And 7 seconds after you open your mouth, people are putting you on 2 pedestals. You are either a lizard or a crocodile. So I ask them, do you want to be a lizard or you want to be a crocodile? If you want to be a lizard, get out of my office. If you want to be a crocodile, let's shake hands. Wow. Let's put our heads down. Let's put our heads together. And let's walk through. So I'll take you through very hot temperatures. And you know what I've discovered? People who come to my coaching are people who do not deserve the coaching because already actually they at least have something going on for their life. Wow. I have one coachee, I've met somebody, he's almost 55, 56. He's the oldest client that I've coached, but young at heart. And he's the most passionate person I've met. He's looking to become a CEO in the next 3 months, 4 or 5 months. And I'm saying, let's work together. This is what you need. So we are working on that, aura. You know, there's a difference between auditory and aura.
Yeah.
Aura is that mien of a king, the mien of a monarch or a king. You get it? Good.
So, in a short form,
Yeah.
what are services do you offer? What are the services?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Mwenda. That's a very good question. Thank you for asking me that in my space. And so, Besthouse Consult, I am the Chief Energy Officer. I don't call myself the Chief Executive Officer. I believe in bringing energy to my team. So, I'm the Chief Energy Officer of Besthouse Consult. We are in training and consultancy. We are about growing people. We are about establishing brands. So, for us, it's about people, processes, and systems. So, we believe that we have to grow people. An organization is as good as its people. And the processes, we want to streamline them. And all these things work together in good systems. You understand? So we grow people, we do team buildings, we do sales trainings, we do corporate trainings. We are in the entire spectrum of helping organizations to realize their aspirations. Like for us, like the organizations that we work with many a times, we rarely find ourselves going to give 1 hour sessions that come here and give my people a talk for 1 hour. Your people are not diabetic. They need a program properly. If you want to develop abs, you don't go to the gym once. You know, let me tell you how funny organizations are. Organizations invest a lot of money in probably investing in systems, they buy the latest technology, but they forget about the people. And when it comes about the people, they say organizations will go the earlier, then one day, one weekend, they'll take their people for a team building exercise to go and do one or two things. They do it for 2 days. Then they say, hey, they go, after that, they drink, then they go back to the drawing board. So what we do is we work with our clients. We are working with one of our financial institutions. What we are doing is, we are working with them all the way. So we have signed 1 year, we have signed 1 year, 2 year contracts that yes, this is our budget. We want to realize 50 billion shillings. Our sales team is as big as this. So craft a program for the 12 months. So we are not in a rush. We are saying in this quarter, this is what we're going to do. Like right now, we're in that process of setting the objectives for the next quarter, starting January to March. So our work is to grow the people. And we are very strong when it comes to growing business development teams, establishing team dynamics, leadership programs. We have a very fantastic program called Leadership 100, where we are basically taking leaders and asking themselves where, if you want your organization to be there 100 years down the line, what kind of competencies do you need as a leader to be there? And that's why we call our program Leadership 100, because we want leaders who think about their organizations 100 years down the line. And the program, if somebody were to ask me, what is the program about in a nutshell? I'm telling them the program is about uncommon sense for common nonsense.
Baba. Okay, good. I'm sure many people have watched you here and they're impressed. Like I can see from many comments coming through from TikTok, from Twitter, from YouTube and other places. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Thank you very much, Mwenda. We are located in West Park Suits. We are located at West Park Suits, that is on Ojiji Road, 9th floor, Besthouse Consult, and our number is 0720582524. Once again, 0720582524. We usually have a program where people are free to just come in. If you're looking for a job, please just come in, walk into our office. Let's have a conversation. Come with that CV. We will guide you. What really makes me feel very nice is that I get very excited when I look at somebody's CV and I tell them somebody walks into my office and told me they have made 600 applications and they've never gotten a job. I tell them, you are doing the same wrong thing. It doesn't matter how many times you do it. You'll always get it wrong. So let people just walk into the office. Organizations, we are willing to work with you. We are willing to get inside there. We are partners. We seek in establishing partnerships. That is our aspiration. Yeah, good stuff. Good. Yeah. But even Mwenda, even you, you have a very exciting story. I think I should be the one interviewing you because I can't compare with you. You've done very fantastic things. For me, this is a very humbling opportunity to actually be able to talk with you. So, you've made your sense of humility is on another level. You might not be knowing this, but how do you manage to sustain that sense of humility with all these things that you've done? You just started from nowhere down in Mombasa, decided